Crimson Trace announces Laser Guard Pro for today's most popular concealed carry firearms, combining a red or green laser sight with 150 lumen light, taking personal defense to the next level. Available now at your local dealer.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free GunDealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
All right, back with you. Tom Gresham, it is Gun Talk. Our number here, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. It couldn't be any easier than that. Talking about a lot of different things going on. We have, of course, an update coming up on our GunDealio app. When you get the notice, be sure to do the update. You got to do that because you'll get the latest features on the GunDealio app. Also, we're giving away stuff. We love to give away things. Surefire is helping us out this month. If you go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N, you can enter for a chance to win, holy cow, prize packs 1, 2, 3, 4 prize packs with, flash hiders, wrist lights, blast diffusers, weapon light systems, combat light with max vision. Goes on and on. The PX3 Fury with IntelliBeam. You can see it all. Go to guntalk.com/win. And you'll have a chance to win. Who knows? As I say, you can't win if you don't enter, okay? Also, you can follow Gun Talk, me, on Instagram. Get a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on with Gun Talk. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Gun Talk over there on Twitter. You can watch our TV shows, the radio show, bonus videos, everything else on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube. We try to put it everywhere. Facebook, of course. Gun Talk Media on Facebook. A lot of things going on there. One of the things we talk about all the time, in fact, I had a buddy of mine was texting me pictures yesterday of targets of groups he's shooting. It's that time of year. Everybody's getting ready for a hunting season. Everybody's trying to figure out, what's the load? What do I do? What ammo should I use? And it is, I was going to say it's bewildering, it's daunting, but the good news is it's wonderful because we have so many fabulous choices and ammo that, frankly, some of it was unthinkable even 20 years ago. It's pretty amazing what has happened in terms of particularly factory-loaded ammo. Joining me right now to talk about that is Jason Nash from Vista, Spear Ammo, and a lot of other ammos out there. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Tom. How are you?
I am good. It is that time of year. People are trying to figure out what they're going to be doing. They're hunting and everything else, and they're looking around for ammo, as well as, of course, looking for self-defense ammo. And the developments just keep coming. I'm looking at your website. It's just like, I don't know how you guys keep up, swear.
Yeah, we're always trying to come up with the next greatest thing, and that's tough to do with cartridges that were invented in the early 1900s. But our engineers defy the odds, and they come up with amazing new inventions every year.
It really is, and of course, a lot of it comes. Wouldn't you agree? A lot of it is in the bullet, the projectile development, because, a 7x57 is still a 110, 120-year-old cartridge, but when you put different bullets in it and the new propellants and everything we have, we can make them more accurate, and we can also make them work better.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I listened to one of your earlier shows about, and the 9-40-45 discussion always comes up. And,
right.
It's really our bullet technology that's allowed us to really kind of mitigate caliber and make sure that it's one that fits and is comfortable to shoot and you're confident with.
That's interesting. Yeah, as I'm thinking about it as you're saying it, and it's right, the bullet technology has closed the gaps to the point where, honestly, there's no effective difference between a 9, a 40, and a 45 in terms of self-defense. They pretty much perform the same when you look at all the reports, police shootings, and everything else. So that's pretty interesting. And then, of course, on the hunting side, 30 years ago, factory ammo, they would say, hey, 2-inch group, great, good to go. And now you'd be having a fit if you had factory ammo that would only shoot 2 inches, wouldn't you?
Yeah, there's a much greater expectation for it. We've, on the rifle side, on our Federal Premium brand, we've added the Burger bullet to our gold medal line to join our Sierra Match King, and people are getting just amazing accuracy out of it. And you're absolutely right. The expectation is way different than it used to be.
And they have the internet, and they're sharing their groups everywhere. So tell me what's new. I know you guys have been cranking out new stuff. So what's the latest?
Well, I've been focused on our handgun ammunition. I know it's not related to hunting, but we've got a new 38 Special Plus P in our HST line for federal.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is really, it looks like an old wad cutter design where the bullet is seated all the way down at the mouth of the case.
Yeah.
And that's to eliminate that powder shift that happens in a standard 38 load, because that can really change the velocity of your shot. So we've made that much more consistent. We've compacted that powder, and for those who like to carry wheel guns and J-frames, that's a perfect option.
Well, I've been carrying a revolver on my hip for the last 7 days. I'm in Idaho at the moment. Actually, not all that far from the Spear factory up in Lewiston. I'm a little bit further south than that. But let me go back to, you mentioned the powder shift. For those who don't understand what we're talking about, if you took a 38 case and you have all this space in it, and typically your powder charge doesn't fill the whole case. If you just stay with me here and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you pointed it, for instance, straight up, all the powder sitting at the base of the case, and when you pull the trigger, primer ignites the powder, and all the base of it ignites. But if you laid it over on its side, now the powder's laying across the length of the cartridge, and the primer charge can actually kind of expand out over a larger surface area, and the difference between the two can affect your velocities. How'd I do?
Absolutely. That's spot on. We call it powder forward, powder back, and it definitely changes the velocity by quite a bit. We've seen up to 150 feet per second difference depending on where that powder's sitting. So that's why we found it really important to minimize that. In personal defense, you want to make sure that you have consistency, repeatability, and so we took out that variable.
That's really interesting. The idea of going to, it's not exactly a wad cutter, but it kind of is seated like a wad cutter, you said.
Yep. Yeah, it looks kind of silly, but, well, not silly. It looks different than what people are used to seeing. They wonder if there's actually a bullet in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, and it's called, what do you call it?
That one's in our Federal Premium line, and it's our HST bullet in a 38 Special Plus P, and it's under our Micro series, designed for shorter-barreled handguns.
Okay. So this is really a self-defense personal protection load.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what else you been working on?
Well, the other brand that we're really fond of is our Spear Gold Dot product line. We've increased the output of that to the consumer market because, that Gold Dot product has been trusted by more law enforcement officers than any other product out there. And it just, the way it's built, it really holds up against the toughest barriers. And, auto glass, if you've ever watched ballistics demonstrations, is one that is really tough on bullets. And that Gold Dot does a fantastic job. So for those who want to carry what the law enforcement carry every day, we've offered that to them.
Yeah, for those who don't know, when the FBI protocol on handgun ammo testing, shooting through windshields, and a lot of times the glass will strip the core out, and so this core and the jacket will separate, and then you really lose a lot of the effectiveness. It's just, the glass test is the one that drives you crazy when you're a bullet maker or an ammo maker, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and that is the hardest on bullets, and that's why that bonded construction of the Gold Dot just holds up really well time and again through the auto glass.
And I know people are going to say, why would I ever want to shoot through that? Well, let me just give you one thought. ISIS-style vehicle attack, and you're in the middle of it, and you got what you got on you, and your only shot is through the windshield, okay? You don't have to really wonder any further than that. There it is. Make sure you're carrying a load for that. I wanted to mention something. I know this is not what you want to talk about exactly, but I was cruising through your website. You guys also have a ballistics app for your smartphone, don't you?
We do, yeah. So as we're coming into hunting season, Federal Premium has a nice ballistics app that also has an ammunition selector. So you go in and put in what you're going to use it for, target shooting, hunting, and then and what caliber and what bullet, and it'll bring up all your ballistics.
That's really, and you can sit there and compare. You can say, well, I'm thinking about maybe a 270, but what about a 30-06? And you look at one versus the other. I mean, I know personally I can spend hours doing that what if deal.
Yeah, and too many people don't do that. They just grab their rifle and figure out it was sighted in last year, so I'm going to take it out and it'll be fine. And that's where, you end up with wounded animals, and then you've got that little bit of doubt in your mind, like, is this going to shoot where it's supposed to? So it's always important, no matter how certain you are that your rifle's on, to get out and shoot it again. And that ballistics app helps you with thinking about, if you get the chance to take a longer shot, what is wind going to do to the bullet? What's the drop going to be at certain ranges?
Yeah, people really do misjudge wind. And in a hunting situation, I mean, you're shooting up across a 300-yard shot, a canyon, you get a 15, 20 mile-an-hour wind blowing. You could get a 2 or 3 foot shift in point of impact. By the way, I wanted to mention that website. The website is federalpremium.com for the app. And then if people want to know more about the spear ammo, what's the best place for them to do that? It's
spear-ammo.com. We've got a new site that'll be launching in about a week. That'll be mobile friendly. If you go there right now, it's a little bit like a 1990s website, but that is going to be quickly replaced. Get your nostalgia in now, because there'll be a brand new one that's very mobile friendly shortly.
Very good. Hey, Jason, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing us up to date with what you guys have been doing.
Thank you, Tom. Great to talk to you.
All right, take care. Yeah, I'll tell you what, getting the right ammo, the right bullet. And, which bullet number, 130 grain, 140 grain, 150 grain, what am I going to be shooting, doing all this comparison back and forth. Do you have a favorite load in your particular caliber, one that you said, okay, I've done it all and this is my do everything? Or are you one of those people that says, well, I use this load for elk, and I use this for deer, and I use this for antelope? What are your favorite loads and your favorite calibers? 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham.
There's only one place where you can buy that firearm you've always wanted and turn it into your very own. That place is Brownells.com. Now offering a huge selection of firearms from all your favorite brands. Brownells is the spot to buy online. When you're choosing your gun, be sure to look over the enormous selection of parts, accessories, ammo, and more to make that firearm your masterpiece. Brownells.com. Serious about firearms.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit sigsauer.com today.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Batagroup. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com.
Hardcore tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. For decades, Surefire has built the first and finest professional-grade flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors. We build the best because lives depend on it, and we know failure is not an option. We design, engineer, and manufacture Surefire products right here in the U.S. For you, for your loved ones, Surefire. American built, American strong. Surefire.com.
All right, welcome back. A lot of things going on in the news. Let's see. Historic announcement made. Concealed carry agreement. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey announced that a recent agreement means concealed carry handgun permits issued by West Virginia or Wisconsin will be mutually recognized as valid by either state. And I love this. Quote, I take protecting the Second Amendment rights of legal gun owners seriously, Attorney General Morrisey said. Quote, residents of West Virginia and those who visit here should be able to exercise their right to bear arms, as it should be. If and when we get reciprocity, we'll be able to do that. Your permit will be good everywhere. Oh, by the way, the gun ban industry, they're losing their freaking minds over the idea of reciprocity. And they're pushing it and saying, well, we would have to, in New York, abide by the laws of Arkansas, where people are not safe and they don't have to go through all this rigmarole. And we want to be able to have rigmarole. We want to be able to keep them. They don't say it exactly that way. But they're trying to say the whole thing. And I always say, wait a minute. Let's take a look at this. You're concerned about concealed carry holders committing crimes. But if you look at the record, those who have carry permits, those who have legally, lawfully issued carry permits, commit crimes at a rate roughly 1/6 that of police officers. It would be difficult, I would submit, to find a group of Americans that has a lower rate of crime in terms of committing crime than those who have carry permits. License, photographed, fingerprint, background check. Yeah. So you're worried about a group of people who commit a crime at a rate 1/6 that of police officers. I mean, I'm not picking on police officers, just what it is. It's nonsense, it's what it is. But it just scares the devil out of them. And as we push forward with more rights, trying to regain some of our lost rights, and the gun ban industry and the media, but I repeat myself, it's driving them nuts. Here's one for you. Oh my gosh. Gun range threatened with lawsuit over ladies only nights. You cannot make this up. A ladies-only gun range event was canceled after a man threatened to sue the owner over discrimination. Gun ranges in Riverside, California. They hold ladies' nights, or ladies' days, where women can shoot for free. It's a way of trying to get more women to come out and shoot, which you all think is a good thing. But evidently, an Orange County man felt his civil rights were violated. He sent a letter. He's upset because he would have to pay the exorbitant amount of $15 to shoot at the range while the women got to shoot for free. Let's see. Greg Rolando, the gentleman's name. So it could be a violation of the California law. Could be punishable by $4,000 per violation. So he's dropping the nuclear option on this over his $15. Good Lord. Unbelievable. Let's see. Line 2. Harry's with us out of Coos Bay, Oregon. Harry, what you thinking about with this? What's going on with your AR-15?
Hello, Tom. Hey, every time I put a round in the chamber and I slam the bolt forward, I find a light primer strike on the round before I even shoot it off. So I was kind of wondering, is that a common problem in ARs?
It is common.
That just scares the heck out of me.
Well, it's common, but it's not a problem. Okay? It's a common occurrence, but it is not a problem. Here's what's going on. The AR-15 has a floating firing pin. So when the bolt goes forward, the firing pin goes forward with it with inertia, and it gives a very light tap on the primer. Now, if you have soft primers, some soft primers are softer than others, it will show up more. If you have military spec primers, you will see it as an indentation, but hardly at all. Now, but here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought it up, because it could possibly, maybe, be a safety thing. If we follow our rules of gun safety, all guns are always loaded, never point a gun at anything you're not willing to destroy. If on the extremely unlikely occurrence that you had what is called a slam fire, that is when the bolt rushes forward after you drop the bolt and the gun goes off, it could be embarrassing and frightening, but it won't be catastrophic if you're pointing your rifle in a safe direction every time you do it. Make sense?
Got you, Tom.
All right. Don't worry about it, but also it's a good reminder to all of us to, no matter what you're doing, keep that muzzle in a safe direction. But yeah, that's it's called a floating firing pin, and they will make a little indentation on the primer there. Appreciate the call, sir. You take care. Let's see, line 1, Tim's with us out of North Dakota. Tim, favorite caliber. Talk to me, man.
300 Holland and Holland.
Nice. Classic caliber, huh?
Yes. The grandfather of probably most of our modern belted magnum cases.
Belted magnums, absolutely. And still a good magnum caliber. Not quite as powerful or as, doesn't have the energy or the velocity of some of the new super magnums, but it will simply take anything, certainly on North America and on most things in Africa. I had not thought about the 300 H&H, great caliber, and also a little bit more taper to the case helps it feed just a little bit easier, is the thinking, as opposed to some of these fat-bodied cases we have today. Is that an issue? I don't know. But folks who hunt dangerous game always like that, so just a thought for you. What is your favorite caliber? What is your favorite bullet weight, particularly for hunting? 866-TALK-GUN. Let me give you one of mine when we come back.
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
I'm just thinking about our brothers and sisters down in Texas who are enduring Hurricane Harvey, Tropical Storm Harvey, depression, whatever it is, floods, ravaging winds, 20, 30, 40 inches of rain. If you're in that affected area, give me a holler. Let me know what's going on. Share. I'm also thinking about, what do you do if and here's a question for you. What do you do with your guns if you evacuate? Do you have them locked up? Do you have them stored somewhere? Do you have, and here's where we get to the heart of the matter, do you have really good records of your firearms, models, serial numbers, and do you have your records stored someplace not in your house? Because if your house burns, I'm familiar, or it floods and your records are gone and your guns are ruined, now what? Maybe storing them in the cloud, maybe somewhere, I don't know. What do you do? But I'd love to get the information if you are in that area, what's going on there. Houston, of course, I think it's good. It's bad and getting worse. Hurricane Katrina, Ryan, who, as you've seen Ryan for years on our TV shows, my son Ryan, on Guns and Gear, Gun Venture, he lost all of his guns in Hurricane Katrina. House flooded, 10 feet of water in his house. Trust me, if it sits in water for a while, you may not want them back. In this case, they were underwater for 2 weeks and sat in wet cases for 2 or 3 months before they were allowed to go back in. Yeah, they're toast. 866-TALK-GUN. We'll get you in here. Let's see. Line 3. David's with us. Waco, Texas. What are you looking for here, David?
Well, I got a gun recently that was a Colt Government automatic, but it's chambered in .455 Webley auto.
Really?
Yep. I understand it's a pretty rare one. Did a little research. Looks like they made like 5,000 of them and shipped them to the Royal Air Force back in 1912.
So this is not the regular .455 Webley. This is did you say it was a .455 Webley auto? That's
correct. There's a .455 Webley 1, 2, 3, at 4, and a .455 Webley auto.
Son of a gun. I have to admit, I did not know about the Webley auto. I mean, I've heard about the Webley auto revolver. This is actually an auto revolver, which is a weird deal.
Right. Well, there's the .455 Webley auto. Well, and I mean, I'm just basically telling you what I found on Google.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it came at me cold. Somebody gave it to me because they couldn't get it to cycle and couldn't get it to hit reliably. And I was like, well, you're running the wrong bullets in it. You're running 45 ACPs, and this says .455 on the side.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm furiously over here running the Google DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine I can find on it, and I'm coming up with info. But I am getting educated here. I never had heard of the .455 Webley auto cartridge.
Right. Well, apparently it's a .450. Well, and there's some conflicting sources on it because
of course.
From what I was finding information on it being a .455 Webley auto or perhaps .455 LE, which may be something different or maybe the same thing.
I don't know, but you know what? Here's what I do know. We got some really smart people listening, and they all together, none of us knows everything, but all of us together, we probably have somebody that knows almost anything about anything. I'm going to ask you to keep listening. I'm going to ask for some help and get some calls in from folks who know and tell us a little bit more. Is there anything specifically you're trying to find out about this?
What I would like to find out is what the specifications are for that cartridge, whether the Webley or the LE, because it's pre-SAMI, so there's no information on SAMI about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I just, because I don't know if I've got an original barrel or not, and the only way, because all markings on the barrel are illegible.
Right.
So the only way I'm going to be able to verify whether it's got someone slapped a 45 ACP barrel on there, or if it's still got the original barrel, would be to check chamber dimensions.
Right. I'm going to do a Cerakote, not Cerakote, Cerasafe cast. It could be the 455 Ely or the 455 Colt or whatever else. All right. We're going to send it out there, and if somebody can give us maybe some information or maybe just a hint of a site to go to on the internet that would have information on it, we would both appreciate that. And Mal, I learned something today. David, thank you for your call. I appreciate that. Let's see. Got to have line 2 in here. This just looks like too much fun. Glenn is in Washington State. Glenn, I'm going to let you talk about this. What are you asking about?
Well, what set me off was about a month ago I read an article about a guy, I think it was in Afghanistan, that shot one of those Muslim dirtbags over there. And he did it at 2.5 miles. And the bullet took 7 seconds to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that started me thinking. I live alone and work alone and basically have way too much time on my hands.
Evidently.
I started thinking, if you were shooting, let's say, north to south,
okay,
and you sighted in your gun, and you shot 2.5 miles to hit a target, and then you turned around and shot south to north, what would the deviation be on the bullet strike zone?
I get you, because we're talking about the Coriolis effect, the rotation of the Earth, right?
Right.
Okay.
7.5 seconds.
Yeah, but realistically, the difference is going to be so small you couldn't measure it at that distance, I think, because our atmosphere is spinning at the same rate, et cetera, et cetera. When you get into artillery, and this is an area where I'm starting to get way out on thin ice as far as what I know, with artillery where you may be shooting 25 miles, it actually is a factor, I understand. But I don't think even at 2.5 miles, I think the variation in group size, the slightest puff of wind would simply wipe out whatever infinitesimally small factor that would be the rotation of the Earth.
It could be, but you're talking a standard of deviation of 14 seconds of bullet flight.
I understand.
Okay.
But I do, Glenn, I am absolutely in agreement with you. You do, in fact, have too much time on your hands, my friend.
Okay, second question.
Okay.
If you're shooting east to west,
oh my goodness,
versus west to east, would the rotation of the Earth add or subtract on the speed of your bullet?
Yes. Thank you for your call, sir. I got to run. 866 Talk Gun. Oh my! And if you're shooting out of the back of a pickup truck going 500 miles an hour with a 45 ACP, yeah, I know. 866 Talk Gun. Let's talk.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
There's a reason why police officers trust Spear Gold Dot ammunition over the competition. The same reason you should too. The ultimate expansion and FBI-tested reliability have proven time and again to protect America's finest. Spear Gold Dot is the #1 trusted ammo for police protection. And while it's standard issue for the men and women in blue, it's now available for personal protection. Spear Gold Dot, the gold standard of professional conceal and carry ammunition.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
Smith & Wesson Performance Center firearms combine old-world hand craftsmanship with modern technology. Carry comfortably and confidently with Performance Center pistols and revolvers. Or take aim with their fine-tuned modern sporting rifles. For unique designs and special features, experienced shooters look to the Performance Center for all their firearms needs. Performance Center by Smith & Wesson. Performance when it matters most. For more, go to smith-wesson.com/PC.
All right, back with you. Let's go to, I want to get this one in. Line 4. Paul's with us out of Palmer, Alaska. Paul, what are you doing here?
Hey, Tom, how you doing? I just wanted to share something with you with the potential new shooters this hunting season. A few years ago, my wife drew a moose permit. She had never fired a big game rifle before, and so I blew the dust off my dad's old Model 88 lever action and went to the Hodgson manual and found that you can load Trail Boss with a 150-grain bullet down to about 1,200 feet per second with about 2 pounds of felt recoil. So I loaded up about 100 rounds of that, and over the course of a couple of weeks, we went out and did a lot of shooting, working cycling the lever, loading the magazine, doing a lot of shooting, and she got really comfortable with it. And I just wanted to throw that out there for those who hand load that it's a great way to train new shooters with no felt recoil whatsoever.
Trail Boss
is a great load.
Trail Boss is an amazing powder because it has bulk. So it's not the same as, because you do not want to go like with a super light charge of your regular powder. That could end up getting you into a safety situation. But Trail Boss is made for these reduced loads. And to your point, I want to make sure people heard what you said. 2 pounds of felt recoil, that's less recoil than a .410 shotgun.
It's really light. I mean, it's just a joy to shoot. And so the shooter can shoot, 100 rounds in a day and with no muzzle blast, no recoil, and they really can focus on trigger control, cycling the bolt or the lever, and the training aspects of the shooting. So I found it, and I train my kids the same way, and it's great. And that information is available from Hodgdon, and also Handloader Magazine number 285 back several years ago. Charles Petty wrote a comprehensive article and loading everything from a 243 up to I think a 375 H&H, put out all kinds of data on it. So there's good data out there, and I highly recommend that.
The other thing it does, just think about this: if you shoot a Magnum, say you shoot a 300 Magnum, just to pick something, or a 7 mag. That's a lot of recoil for most people to go out and go shoot 40 to 100 rounds. I mean, it's going to beat them up. But you take that same rig with your rifle, your scope, your sling, and you load Trail Boss in it, and now you're shooting these super light loads, but they're still accurate, and they still hit real well out at 100 yards, no problem. And you go out and shoot, and you just, to your point, you get confidence, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you get a lot of confidence, and you're not dealing with recoil and that muzzle blast. So yeah, I just highly recommend that. I thought that worked well for my family, and just wanted to put that out there for the hand loaders out there.
Thanks, Paul. It's really good info. Let me tell you what confidence does for you. I have a couple of rifles that I have so much confidence in them and I've actually said this, and it doesn't sound good. It sounds arrogant, okay? But it just comes from the confidence. And just my whole thing is, if I can see it, I can hit it. Now, that's not really true, because, I mean, if you saw something at a mile, I'm not going to shoot an animal at a mile. But within what I would call my range, for me, 400 yards and in, okay? 300 yards and in is very comfortable. But if I see it in there, I can hit it. Because I shoot enough, I know the rifle, I know the trigger, I know the loads, I know all of that. And the only way to get there is to pull the trigger a lot. I mean hundreds of times, thousands of times even, because I would do a 10-to-1 ratio of dry firing to shooting. But with the idea of using Trail Boss, super light recoiling loads in whatever, it could be a 4.58 Win mag, or a 300 mag, or a 30-06, or whatever it is. Now you go out to the range, you're having a ball. Why wouldn't you shoot? There's no recoil. It's a great idea, and I appreciate Paul bringing that up. I really do. Let's see. Charlie's got a range report for us. He's on 2 out of Oklahoma. Charlie, what you shooting there, man?
Well, this week I broke out my new Henry, original Henry 4440. Brother and I was shooting our 30-06s, getting ready to go on an antelope hunt in New Mexico in a few weeks, and after we were finished, I broke out the 4440, and my brother kind of snickered, but after hitting dead center a 300-yard target with that flip-up sight, he thinks I should take the 4440 with me to New Mexico.
And anybody you let shoot it just start grinning, don't they?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people just kind of snicker and think, what are you going to do with that? It's pretty, but what's it good for? Well, after shooting it, I ordered some hunting rounds. I think I'll take it deer hunting this fall.
I love it. Great range report, man. 4440. Yeah, it's one of those deals. What are you going to do with that? Well, pretty much anything I want to do. I know that, by the way, I'm going to make a lot of people smile, because when you shoot a rig like that, it's like they shoot it, they turn around and look at you and smile and go, can I do it again? Yes, you can. We'll keep giving you ammo. 866-TALK-GUN. What have you been shooting? What have you been sharing? Here, the question was, does flood insurance cover firearms? It might, but you got to check your homeowner's policy. Most homeowners' policies have a limit on what they'll pay for firearms. And the number $2,000 comes around a lot. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take many guns. Sometimes one gun will exceed that. If you don't have additional insurance on your guns, I would sure encourage you to look into it. Your homeowner's policy, you may be able to just buy a rider that goes onto it and pay extra. I know the NRA has a firearms insurance policy that's available, and the rate is very good. But here's what happens. You buy a gun, you buy another gun, and over the course of 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years, you look in your gun safe and you go, wow, that represents a lot of money there. I would dare say that most people listening to this show, if they have been shooting for any period of time, it's entirely possible / likely that you have $10,000 invested in your firearms. If you're sitting there with a dozen or 24 guns, and a bunch of the people I know have at least that, you'd be shocked because it happens one gun at a time. Make sure you got some insurance. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's talk to John on line 1 out of Oklahoma. He's got an idea on there. John, what do you do for your gun records?
I have an Excel file with a page dedicated to each firearm that I own, and each page has a description, a serial number, and a photograph, at least one photograph, and I've dumped all that on a CD, and it's in a safe deposit box at the bank.
Oh. Why? Okay, let me ask you, I think I know why, but why not store it online in the cloud or something like that?
I'm an old guy.
Well, that wasn't what I was expecting, but I'll go with that. Something stored in the cloud, if it's somebody's site somewhere and something happens that goes away, your CD is going to be there.
Right.
Assuming the hurricane doesn't flood your bank, and even if it does, you're probably still going to be able to clean and read a CD. That's a pretty cool idea. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, gosh, years.
What made you start?
Just a consideration that something might get stolen. I might want to have serial number information for the police department, or if I lost one in a fire or something, I could talk to my insurance company about it.
Okay. Excellent. Good information. Appreciate the call. And for those who don't know, safes are not airtight, which means they're not watertight. So water will go into a gun safe. And if your house flooded, the water would get into your gun safe and it would soak your guns. And if you get them out in a hurry, if the water came up and it goes back down, get in there, get them out, break them down, clean them up, get some kind of really good rust protective on there, and you could probably save them. If they sit wet for days or weeks, heaven forbid, which is the Katrina thing, probably not recoverable. But if you get in there quickly, get them taken apart, and clean them up, I think you probably are okay. But man, it's nasty. It just is. Jim's on line 4 out of Iowa. Jim, got about a minute. Dive in quickly.
Over the a year or two, I've heard a lot of discussion about J-frames where they only have 5 rounds. I solved that problem. I carry a pair of Smith & Wesson Model 340s. On the right side, inside the waistband, a Galco holster, and on the left side, outside, on the belt, a Mernical holster that tucks up really closely tight, and it's very comfortable, very concealable. Just a tip for anybody that's worried about only 5 rounds, and then a couple of speed strips in your right pocket.
Yep, and you got more ammo ready to go, so you do your what's called a New York reload, which is to grab another loaded gun. So you got 10 already loaded, and you've got 2 more speed strips. You got 5 more, another 10 rounds good to go. I like that. Pretty darn cool.